Sorrenthal's camera is the easiest one to find because it's the one without the borders. Will do, actually.
See whether he wants it. The thing's bigger or not. Depends on the size of the monitor, I guess.
Right, we're live, guys.
All right, welcome. Episode 40. The search for Jeleneth continues. So where are we?
I ain't got my filter on.
Get your filter on, Dart. I haven't got my filter on, I can't be bothered. So where are we? Currently,
background.
Well, I know. It's a nerdy D&D background. We are currently somewhere below the Wilderlands, heading down through what can only be described as the beginnings of the Underdark. After traversing through tunnels and mines on the trail of Jeleneth, you finally discovered, or you ended up finding the lair of the Bloodskull Orcs. You defeated the Bloodskull Orcs, discovered there was a kind of hidden passageway that kind of continued sort of southeast from where you were, as best as Jet and Rage and Dart between them, Ember between them could kind of navigate. After a little while travelling that route, you were, lovely. You were intercepted, or out from the darkness appeared a deep gnome who took you into her sort of hidden cavern, where you discovered that you were essentially on the trail of the Masters, whom, after somebody finally asked the question, the $6 million question, who are the Masters, the female gnome explained that they were illithids or mind flayers, depending on how what tongue you speak. To which you all realised that you'd left your washing out, or the oven on, or you know, you've got a pressing appointment with a chiropodist or something, you know.
All of those.
All of the above, yes.
Yes.
But yes, so essentially, if you wish to continue searching for Jeleneth, it would appear you have to go further down these tunnels towards the Illithid enclave. I think we left it with you all trying to decide exactly what it is you were going to do.
Yeah, I think Jeleneth has just kind of lost all hope now, hasn't she?
Maybe.
Oh, that's something interesting. Now we're on a map with no lights around the outside. Oh no, the HUD's come up. All right. Now we're on party, which is odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on the main map, weren't we? Travelling underground.
Oh, yeah, it's turned off the you heard.
Oh, if you hover over it, it does come up, but it's under party and not the actual PC because there's only one token.
Correct. Yeah, which makes it a bit weird, but yeah.
Oh, just so you know, I came on earlier and I cast my my mage armor,
Yeah, I saw that.
and it worked a treat. Brilliant.
Good. So, after you've had some food and a rest, what is it you wish to do?
Go to the Gnome City.
Well, that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I thought we could go there, then get some teleportation back, couldn't we?
Potentially. I think it was it 50 miles to the east?
Yeah, it was about halfway, wasn't it? Because then you'd have to come back and then twice that to get to the Illithicity down a different path.
Yeah, stay on the left.
They did suggest they had some potential teleportation magic that...
Yeah, they use teleportation.
Would that be able to take us to the city, or is it just back from the city?
And they only had gates that they teleported to, wasn't it? So the people that did the teleports were at the city, and then they just ported people out to like areas.
Yeah, the outpost, wasn't it?
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
So we were getting, one of the guides was coming along with us to get us past the outpost, wasn't the next outpost, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
or her.
I think we had requested that. Yeah.
So that we were getting murderized.
And once we unlock the teleport in the city, we'll be fine. We can get there anytime we want.
Yeah, somebody needs to learn how to actually teleport.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We shouldn't be seeing the things in the actors folder, should we?
What things in the actors folder?
Like monsters and non-PCs and starter heroes and things.
No.
I don't know where the actors folder is.
It's the one next to the 3 cogs.
Yeah, so what can you see in there?
The compendium pack.
Oh, compendium pack. Oh, compendiums are fine. Yeah, you can look through compendiums. That's not a problem.
But that's items and actors and...
Yeah. But that's just generic items and actors. If it's in there, it means I have access to it to throw it at you or give it to you at any time in the game.
Just remember, though, you only know what your character knows.
Correct.
You've got some heroes here as well for some reason.
Correct. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in there.
Oh,
Does-
okay. I didn't think we were allowed to watch you reading it.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Do any of the party know what Illithids really are or anything like that?
No.
Most of the players do, but characters don't, I assume.
No. Right, so let's push on. We've got some moss and things we'll have taken from wherever we've been told to find it, as well as provisions.
All right.
Does Kelg have any knowledge about them from? I don't know what bars are like for lore and things nowadays. It used to be they knew a little bit about all sorts of different things. Do they still
under the bardic knowledge? You mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I know certain schools have that type of thing. I don't know what school Kelg is as to whether or not you might know something about them.
Sure. I have to defer to Zed on whether my background and other bits would lend themselves to that or not.
Hold on. Got to remember what they are.
Yeah, my bard in the other game that I play is a swordsman, so he definitely wouldn't. But there are some that concentrates on knowledge and that might know a little bit about them. Won't know anything about the city, obviously, but they might know enough to give us a warning as to what we're getting ourselves into.
I said, but correct me if I'm wrong, but Illithids in the books were secretive, that ruled everything from behind, didn't they?
Yes, in every way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, give me a an Arcana check with disadvantage.
Arcana, you say?
Yes.
Arcana.
That
one you're dead good at.
See, my bard has actually got plus 12 in Arcana, so he knows a little bit about pretty much everything.
Sadly, I mean, you've heard there are a couple of kind of songs or stories that you know that contain illithids and mind flayers, but you don't know anything about what they can and can't do.
Would he know to recognize them if he saw one? That's what that is. If you're thinking of ambushing them, it might help if you actually knew what they look like.
Well, wouldn't the gnomes have told
There's
us
Ferv
what
Neblin.
The gnomes. Okay, so the gnomes will describe what they look like. They're fairly humanoid in their general shape. They're distinguishable by having quite elongated heads and tentacles on their face. They are very capable, very capable wielders of the Arcane, specifically focusing on psionic energies.
And they're nothing like the Ood. They don't have a big white egg in front of them.
Yeah, they do not look anything like the Ood. The Ood look everything like mind flayers.
Yes.
Weren't you planning they were going to send a patrol out in, was it 3 days? 4 days or something?
A little bit longer than that.
10.
14
10
days. 10 days, was it?
10 days, was it?
10 days, yeah. Indeed. Okay.
Let's go head for the city then.
All right.
Are we going to leave Arena and Arena and Samuel? We're going to be taken back to the surface.
The gnomes are going to take them.
Okay, the first 5 miles is fairly straightforward caverns. You know, here and there, there are multiple. You know, in that 5 miles, it's not just a single passageway that you're following. There are many sort of caves and things that you pass through. You know, a lot of them. Yeah, some not a lot of them. Some of them have interesting things about them. Maybe a waterfall that you pass over, or kind of walk through the top of the waterfall. In another one, you know, there are large stalactites that are, you know, in places sort of 20 or 30 feet wide and nearly 100 feet long in terms of you know, their size of them. But you know, the gnome that's taking you just basically takes you on a straightforward path. But because you're following the gnome, you're kind of going at his pace, which is, you know, quite slow. So certainly for those of you who are a lot faster in your, you know, general movement.
Better slow than dead.
And it takes you about 3 hours of travel to cover the 5 miles. So by the time it's kind of like, you know, jet as far as you can tell, You think it's about 11 o'clock at night, something like that, but you are kind of losing a bit of track of night and day because you obviously haven't seen the sun for probably 3 or 4 days now.
Would I be able to determine the time though? Because I'm not really used to this environment.
My character should be.
How do you track days? How do you track days though?
Yeah, so I think Ember.
I have a mechanical watch.
You do, yeah. Yeah. So right now, I think actually that's a really good point. Right now, you don't really know whether it's night or day. You just now get to know when you feel tired or not.
Yeah, somebody needs to carry around an hourglass and turn it regularly.
So if you want to, I mean, I know the clock is running and you can see the clock. If you want to actually, from a character perspective, work out what the time is, let me know, and I'll give you some ways of trying to figure it out.
My thing there is we've taken random sleeps and random rests.
Correct.
Which is, throws your body clock off.
Yeah. But that first sort of 5 miles of travel following the gnome is uneventful. He comes to a fairly major branch. In fact, it's a biggish cave, probably 60 foot wide, maybe 80 foot long. There are several small routes running off, but there's sort of 2 very noticeable, much wider routes. One sort of to the southeast, and one kind of heading more easterly. He points to the southeast one and he shakes his head at you. I would recommend not going that way.
Okay.
We do not.
What's that way then?
We do not go that way.
Was that the tunnel to the Masters?
That is, he shakes his head. That is not the tunnel to the Masters. And as far as our scouts have observed, the Masters do not go down there themselves.
Wait, so it's worse than them.
Well, kind of want to know what's down there now.
What's down there?
He just
it could be potential allies against the Masters.
Could be.
Or a big black dragon.
Yeah.
Well, Rage will put a cross into the wall.
Okay.
Using his axe.
No problem.
So, just pressing a little bit on why they don't go down there and what the danger is, are we able to get any further information out of this character?
And that's that one, is it? Sorry.
Yes, that's that one. Yeah. He says he ponders for a moment. Carmenarin tells us that there is a sense of despair, a sense of dread that gets stronger the further down the passageway you travel. She herself has only gone some 10 miles down the passage.
So each one of these squares are 5 miles?
Yeah.
Wait, is this like the map, the campaign map, but in under the ground?
You could definitely lay it over the campaign map, yes. And what you will find is that you go off the map that you've been travelling around on and onto other maps. And possibly even you go under the ocean.
Yeah, it did look like that, because I thought, hang on, this is a big map.
This is a huge map.
Which I shouldn't really know, to be honest. So.
But no, you can ask the question, fine, so you get some idea of where you're travelling. Yes, it's huge.
I would suggest that we perhaps heed this friendly advice for now. We're new to this area.
Can we not put like a marker on the map itself?
It's all right. Rage has already marked the wall.
Yes, but I meant as in the map we're looking at, not in our imagination.
Are you drawing a map? I was going to suggest that somebody map the route and all the major rooms, major rooms that we've been through.
Oh yeah.
definitely some traffic
Why
management
is
in the
there
fact now they've put
why
a
is there-
roundabout in.
Oh, right. That's
And you got paper and
paper. Who uses paper these days?
Parchment. Okay, there you
in
go.
the party, the map.
So I've put yourself a little
Oh,
cross
well.
there to remind yourself not to go that way.
Yes.
Go that way later.
Go that way when we're much higher level. Okay. He continues. At that point, you kind of stop for an hour. He kind of finds a sort of out of the place way in this cave, kind of hidden by a couple of fairly large stalactites, and you rest. You have an hour's rest. You have some food, some refreshment, and then impatiently he kind of clicks his sort of tongue a little bit on his teeth and kind of gets you moving again.
Right, let's move on.
Okay. The next point is you come another sort of hour and a half. You travel another couple of miles. Slow going because at times some of the routes that he takes you are, whilst they're okay for the gnome to traverse, they become a little bit more trickier for sort of medium and medium-sized humanoids. And so the going is a little bit slow at times. He stops again at another fairly major junction, and you can see, from the state of the floor that this is quite a well-used tunnel to the southeast. And he kind of points down there and he says, "Masters."
Huh? Masters?
Masters.
Oh, you mean the bad guys?
Yeah. He points to the other route that's kind of sort of an northeasterly direction. He says, "Home."
Wonderful. In that case, let's press on.
About
Swiftly.
about a mile and a half. You've disappeared off camera, L'Oreal. Is that deliberate?
It is, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
I didn't want to turn the camera off because it'll mess up the stream. So.
Yeah, I got it. No worries. About a mile and a half further on, as you kind of take that northeast passage, the gnome starts to slow and then comes to a stop. As he does so, from either side step 4 more quite well-armed gnomes, and they begin to converse in deep speech. And the gnome that's been guiding you kind of looks over his shoulder and turns and then points at each of you and says something else. And the other gnomes kind of nod and, yep, okay. And then one of them steps forward and says, "Hail, well met."
Well met.
Hello, little friend.
"I will take you to home."
Thank you.
Does your home have a name?
He says something in deep speech and smiles at you.
I drag Mehdi over to one side and just say to him, "We don't like being called little."
Well noted. Thank you for that, Ember.
Is the word totally unpronounceable?
Is tiny okay?
That's worse.
Vertically challenged.
Are you really small or very, very far away?
He looks at you quizzically for a second, and then he kind of cocks his head to the right-hand side, and he sort of, in slightly broken common, he says, "It could translate to gleaming water falling from the sky amongst our houses." And he smiles at you.
Hang on. What?
Gleaming Falls.
That's the description of the city.
Oh,
That's its name.
sorry. I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mehdi.
It sounds a very beautiful place. Can't wait to see it.
Sounds a bit wet.
I was going to say, sounds wet.
Well, it'd be just be tickling your toes if it's wet.
He leads you on at a fairly quick pace. Another sort of 10 miles pass. Another sort of 3 hours pass by. The passageways that you're following, they are. Jet, give me survival roll.
Okay. So
Ember and Rage also.
survival. I've got the party.
Use your character sheet.
Yeah, it's trying to find where my capture sheet is. Though. That's the.
Press C. That should bring it up.
Press C. Okay. No, we've still got the party.
Okay.
Go on to the actors.
Did you open your character sheet? Or...
Actors directory. PCs. I guess what I might have to do is just drag your character icons onto the map at some point.
I see. Right. Okay. Right. So you want what? Survival?
Survival, please.
Okie dokie. There you go.
Okay. Rage, Ember, nothing. Jet. Every now and then you can see there are small marks, sort of at the eye level for a gnome, so about 2 feet up, etched in various cavern walls and cave entrances, passageway entrances and things. And you've been noticing that as you've come to various places where caverns and caves kind of branch off, you've always been following these marks.
Okay.
They're quite subtle, quite hard to see. You've just seen a couple of them.
Could I subtly, sleight of hand sort of way, tell the party what I can see? Just casually point when the gnomes are watching.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Give me a sleight of hand check. Not a problem.
None
Look
of us
at
see
that.
it. None of us
Yeah, I was
see
going
it.
to say, it's not subtle. Nobody.
Yeah.
He just points to himself.
It's so good. Only I can see it.
You managed to get people's attention as you're passing by, and show them these signs and these icons without your guide noticing. Another 10 another 10 miles. The gnome starts to get a little bit more relaxed. He seems to start to talk a little bit and talks louder now. You have passed a couple of other checkpoints, maybe 3 checkpoints in the total sort of 20 miles, 30 miles that you've travelled. How far actually have you travelled since you've kind of gone here? Yeah, in the 25 miles, roughly speaking, that you've travelled since you hit the fork and said goodbye to your previous guide. You've crossed maybe 2 more checkpoints, each of them equally as well disguised. Obviously, some kind of magic has been used to hide them, so that as you're walking down the passageway, they just look like normal walls.
Mm-hmm.
And then can't move you. You kind of reach the end. You've been on your feet and you've been travelling now you're at a point now where you're all starting to feel pretty tired. Feels like
a large yawn and stretches as much as she can in the confines of the caverns.
I was going to say, didn't they initially say it take 3 days to get there? Or was I wrong by saying that was 2 days?
I seem to remember days.
Yeah, I remember days.
45 miles, yeah, wow. Okay, must have taken a while.
45 miles. Oh yeah, to be honest, I've been moving you not quick. I've been moving you too far, not quick enough. Yeah, hold on. It takes you about 2 days, right? So it's probably about. That's right. That's why you were going to teleport back, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes you 3 days of kind of slow, careful travel The routes that you take are in places a little bit too small for anybody but Ember to pass through. And there's a couple of instances where it's quite comical watching Rage in particular try and fit down some very narrow passageways. To the point where a couple of times you have to help push him along because he's just too wide for them.
You've got the grease spell.
It's rock, isn't it? I've got
It is rock. Yeah, you have a more. Yeah, but sort of
Amber's really enjoying it down here, even though she can't see very well.
Yeah, actually, you are. I mean, it doesn't feel oppressive to you. You're used to living. The only thing I would say is some of the caves in the passageways that you have gone down are smaller than what you're used to. Dwarves tend to build very big vaulted structures inside big natural caverns. The mines are narrow and small, but when you get out into the living spaces, they're not. They're quite grandiose.
Yeah.
But after sort of 3 days of travel, kind of at a fairly slow speed, stopping regularly, eating, sleeping, posting people on watch, you're quite surprised that you haven't really encountered anything down here. And in chatting to your guide, he does explain to you that his people keep the route to the city pretty clear of anything that might, anything that would try and incursion. Try and get what's the word? Intrude on their main route. And his name is Trallin, by the way. Tralin. His name is Trallin Broadcraft. Quite a cheerful gnome. About an hour after you have woken on the third day of your travels, your third sleep, second sleep actually, he hurries you along and you can all hear it, the sound of water cascading down into something, and then you kind of open out into a huge cavern. Best you can tell, a couple of 100 feet wide, or radius of a couple of 100 feet. You're stood quite high up, and as you look downwards, you can see, almost as if carved out of the rock in a spiral, a huge kind of spiral kind of flat piece of rock running all the way around the edge of what looks like an ancient caldera. And from above, the ceiling goes up way beyond your dark vision, and you can only hear the roar and the sound of the water coming downwards. But down below, there seems to be, all the way around this kind of huge cavern, this fungi and moss that's giving off a variety of colours, purples, reds, yellows, that just seem to kind of bathe this kind of whole area below you in a soft, kind of multicoloured light. And you can see small buildings and lots of gnomes kind of wandering around, going about their business. All the while in the centre appears to be this big cascading waterfall that just turns into kind of a glittery rainbow kind of, almost like a sheet of rainbow colour that's just in the middle, rushing down. And Traylin looks at you all and he smiles and he says, "Home. Come." And he takes you further down. And you kind of start winding your way down, and as you do so, people stop and stare. Other gnomes kind of stare at you and look. A couple of guards come rushing up to Trellin, and they start to converse again in deep speech. And then did we say it was Undercommon last time?
Yeah, I think so.
Undercommon, not deep speech. That's right. In Undercommon, and then he looks at you and he says, "Come, come. Elders wish to speak."
Lightly smile and ask him to lead the way.
It takes you further down, and the further down you go, the more you get this kind of glittering rainbow effect, like multicolored gems just shining constantly in in the light that comes from this all these fungi and other kind of light sources down here. Even though the dark gnomes can see in the dark, they choose to kind of have a faint illumination throughout their city. And it does look beautiful. The light refracting, the buildings themselves are well made, very, have lots of kind of interesting architecture, sculptures, and other things around them. It is a bustling place, probably bigger than any of the villages, certainly the villages and things that you've visited so far on the surface. Glancing around, maybe a couple of thousand gnomes down here. So
Laura is just gazing around in wonder at this.
Big. It takes you to almost to the bottom, and now you can see that the ground here is quite wet. The hole where the water is falling through is certainly smaller than what it is as you go up. It's kind of like a funnel looking upwards, and you're almost at the bottom of that funnel. And he takes you to a rather nice, well-carved, ornate building. And he sort of looks at Rage, and you will need to crawl. I'm sorry.
That'll be helped.
We are not used to tall folk visiting. And it takes you in, and the building ceiling is probably 10 foot high maximum, but the doors are all kind of a little bit bigger. They're probably dwarven size. Okay for Ember, but a bit of a challenge for Rage and some of the more taller people in the party. But you're kind of led through to a central chamber in this room. There are 3 rock-carved, probably from quartz or some other kind of semi-precious material. There are a number of sort of drift globes just hanging around, illuminating the place. And there appears to be a woman and 2 men sat upon these chairs. Chairs themselves are all the same size, and no one chair is further forward or back than any other chair. And Traylin kind of introduces you.
As I'm introduced, I will bow.
By now, he knows each of you by name, so he kind of introduces you one at a time. Kurgan, Medistra, Ember, Rage, Jet, L'Oreala, Kelg, R. The woman looks at each of you. She seems to be an old woman. Certainly, by her, if her appearance is anything to go by it, she's certainly an old gnome. Pray, tell me why you are here.
Here in the Underdark or here at your city? In the Underdark, we're seeking prisoners.
To free them. Just to clarify that.
I was going to say that could have
Be a good idea.
Not to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not looking to take prisoners, we're looking to free prisoners.
Are you a caster?
She looks at you puzzled a little bit. I don't understand that question.
A user of magic.
Yes. Oh, many of my people are user of magic.
They seem to have been raiding the surface world for people with magical talents. We've come to find some of them and hopefully to return them home.
So you wish to travel to the Masters?
We're not.
We
certain.
need to, more than wish to.
And you think you are capable?
Not really.
Others have gone before you and failed.
I kind of need a bit better equipment.
We need to be
We'll test our
capable.
metal.
We can only try.
Yes, people are relying on us at the moment.
One of the other gnomes, an elderly man, kind of. And why here? Why to us?
For equipment.
We do not wish to interfere with the Masters.
Surely they take some of your people as well.
They have done. But equally, we take some of theirs if they stray too far towards our glorious city. It is a... How do you say it in your tongue? An ill-favoured arrangement, maybe.
We were hoping to replenish our stock and maybe unload some of our items.
Trade.
And any information we can gather regarding them would be appreciated.
As you've seen, our city is not well equipped to take people of your stature. Though we do have the Dark One's enclave. They are definitely your size. They have an inn, I think you call it, a place where sometimes they receive guests. Perhaps it would be a good place for you to rest and recover should you need it.
I'm sorry, the Dark Ones?
Indeed. Yes. I think in your tongue they're known as the Drow.
Oh.
Aureala quite badly covers a bit of a gasp there.
Do not worry. Do not worry. These wish to eke out a life of neutrality and have chosen to set up camp or set up a life here in our city. They will not harm you, for they know that to do such a thing would mean they were exiled. And from what their leader tells me, if they're exiled, then they will die at the hand of their kin. So you'll be safe.
Thank you.
As for trade, we can trade. We have many people here who may be interested in goods from the surface. Especially diamonds, especially gems. Many of our craftsmen love gems. They can do great things with such baubles, trinkets. I dare say you may find some that would even take your surface money in payment.
Do you have any trade with the surface at all?
Not often.
Would you like to?
I was going to say, yes.
I was going to say, it sounds like an opportunity.
We'd find a gem mine.
If you seek out Izael. He is the Dark One's leader. I believe he has regular trade with the surface, and we buy things through him that we need as we need them. An arrangement that suits all.
If we were to approach these masters and rescue our friends, do you think it would cause you trouble?
Perhaps, perhaps not. It depends depends on the outcome. If you are able to weaken the masters, these Illithid, significantly, then I very much doubt they will give chase. Rather, they will retreat, rebuild, and who knows? That may take many years. Certainly longer than you human folk. She looks at... actually, there isn't a human in the party, is there?
No, we ate him.
Yeah, you did. So she'll say certainly longer than than human folk measure the span of their lives. But if you merely go in, sneak in, rescue your prisoners, sneak out without them knowing, then it is unlikely they will give chase. But if they give chase and you bring the prisoners here, then you will bring war to our door.
We would not wish to do that. You've been most hospitable and very kind already.
We are glad that you do not wish to do that.
We heard that perhaps some of your people have the ability to transport people to other locations.
Our Arcanists have gateways. Yes. They may be Are you wishing to be transported to places?
If you had a method of getting somewhat closer to the masters unseen, that would be useful, and perhaps a way back out to the surface, should we need it.
To the surface, I'm sure we can manage. To the masters, we cannot.
We dispatched a warlord and the guards further down the passage where we came from, and we were told that they must be sending another patrol if they don't hear from them.
Yes, our outer perimeter watch tell us that the masters, he smiles, the Illithid, let us call them by what they are, travel to the Orcs every 10 days. Sometimes longer, but mostly every 10 days.
Just a thought, but would it be possible for you to teleport us close to where they would be? I'd like to see one of these Illithids, and maybe if we could take or dispatch one.
Our Arcanists have a network of teleportation circles along our main route to our outer perimeters. We have learned over the years to avoid encroaching down the passageways where the Illithids roam. And other things roam, of course. They're not the only things here.
Rachel, I think teleportation would be essentially the closest we can get Medi.
I agree.
And I think that's probably going to be back to the outpost post where we were.
How large are their patrols normally when they visit the orcs? Is it a number of lithids or just one or two?
I do not know. I have not seen them. I do not concern myself with such things. The other two men kind of shake their heads as well.
The guards might know.
Who is your who is the head of your wayfarers? You know, your scouts who may have that knowledge. They may have come across them.
That would be Carmenerin. She spends most of her time at the outlying outposts.
I would have thought if these lithids are the hierarchy, that then they may well send minions and not go themselves and put themselves in danger. So possibly when we go back west, Caminian may be able to answer that. Although I'm sure we asked when we were there and they did not know.
Can't remember if we did ask or not, actually.
Maybe Azael has some knowledge as well. Who knows?
Well, she looks at you. We give you leave to spend time in our city.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We respect your hospitality.
Did you say there was a female and 2 males?
Yes.
No. Did we get their names?
No.
It's alright, I won't ask.
The guard, the gnome that brought you down here, trailing, he kind of steps forward and he says, come. I will take you to the Darklands enclave. It is a short walk, but not too far. Oh, and he says, I've seen up to 8 of the illithids in a roaming pack, or as little as none with their and just minions. I think it depends on what they're expecting, whether they've been attacked any time recently, or whether everything is as it should be.
8 of these things.
Could be challenging.
Okay, he takes you back out and takes you back up. You climb about 100 feet. When you came into the passage, you probably descended close to 250 feet downwards. He takes you about 100 feet up, and then he takes you through quite a well-lit sort of cavern cave mouth into a somewhat darker, unlit passageway. The passageway itself is quite wide, probably 30 or 40 feet wide by sort of 20, 25 feet high. And it wends kind of turns 90 degrees back on itself. And then after another sort of 50 feet, it opens up into a smaller cavern. I say smaller, it's a good 100, 150 feet wide, probably 30, 40 feet high, and a good couple of 100 feet long. In here, there are a number of buildings that are more humanoid size. And you notice there are several drow, a couple kind of posted near the entrance. And as you kind of walk in, one of them steps forward with a spear and he points it, he just stands there. And again, Talon speaks in Undercommon, and the drow responds, nods. Talon turns and says, "My authority does not extend beyond here. So here is where I will leave you. You are welcome back into our city whenever you wish, and I wish you a good stay. These ones are not like their brethren. You will not be harmed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tron.
Thank you, Tom. Hopefully we'll be able to meet up for a drink maybe later.
The drow steps forward. You can see now that this is a female, and she smiles. The little one is right. Welcome to our place of exile. I'm Gilhana, keeper of the gateway.
And what is this gateway you speak of?
She smiles and she gestures to the entranceway. It is a grand title. She smiles and almost in a sort of self-deflating way, she says, "It is a grand title for one who guards the entrance to our town."
Oh, I see. Well,
gatekeep.
That's very nice.
Basically, the keeper of the gateway. She's a gatekeeper.
It's a worthy job.
She points to an ambulance. She's gone past the house. She points to a building you can see. There are a couple of kind of very dim lights on it. And she says, that is what would pass in your world as an inn.
Thank you.
Does not have a name as such, just the inn.
I'll have a quick look around from here. Are there only drow here, or
Give me a perception check. Kirkin glances around. No, you can see hobgoblins, a couple of orcs, drow, dark-skinned dwarves. That's about it.
Amber has a bit of a shock at seeing hobgoblins.
Orcs. That's going to be a problem.
Finally, kind of looking around a little bit, noticing the rest of the party taking interest. L'Oreal quite timidly sort of says, "Are there many of your people here? My family and parents told me stories." She looks a little embarrassed. That did not put your kind in a good frame.
We are few. We number just over 50.
So few.
Fighting. We probably number just over 100 if you include those who are unable to wield arms or bear arms. In total, this place and the cave beyond holds about 240 souls.
It must have been difficult for you all. Still, it's good to see friendly faces down here. We fought long and hard. Would you be able to show us around?
I am unable to leave my post, but I suggest you go to the inn, and I'm sure somebody there will be more than willing to show you around.
Thank you.
I think it's a breath of fresh air. At least I won't be the only one that people stare at now.
We have your kind here. You are tiefling, yes?
This is right. You have more of my kind here.
Yes.
I've never met another tiefling.
There are not many, number less than 10, but they are here nonetheless.
Wonderful. If I get time, I shall look for them.
We have one of his kind as well. I presume it's a he.
Who?
Points to Rage.
I think he's.
Sorry, the last 2 seconds cut out, but I'd heard everything else up to somebody pointing at me. Didn't catch what they said.
Yeah. We have one of your kind here.
Really?
Yes. He runs the inn.
Interesting. Well, I suppose we should go to the inn then.
They have some of my brethren here as well. But yes, let's go to the inn.
Looks like this enclave is a collection of lost souls.
It seems to be. I'm a bit aghast, really. Right, so I'm assuming we're all going to go to the inn?
Yep.
Yep.
Are there any of my people here?
Didn't say so.
Okay.
And when we get to the inn, you see a little halfling spinning round on a roast.
No, but by your people, do you mean halflings or dwarves?
With a skewer up its bum.
That's right, and an apple in its mouth.
It's dinner time, is it?
You walk up to the inn. As you do so, you do see a couple of orcs and a hobgoblin.
Are these orcs or half orcs?
No, they're orcs.
Okay.
Proper orcs.
Yeah, I'm not starting a fight on behalf of Kurgan.
Yeah, with Ember as well, I'm going to just put my arm on her shoulder, on my hand on her shoulder, and say, Ember, these people seem to be have chosen a peaceful path. Yeah, so if you see anybody that offends you, please don't do anything.
I wasn't going to. I was just shocked by goblins.
Okay. There is a gentle sound of music coming from the inn. Kind of, as you hear it, it kind of reminds you of the waterfall and the sound. If sound could reflect off gems, that the kind of thing that you kind of feel. And as you walk in through the front door, you come to a moderately sized common room, maybe 50 foot by 50 foot. A good dozen and a half tables in here. Most of them sort of fairly long trestle tables. Sat over to one corner with sort of a lyre, that kind of thing. Stringed instrument appears to be a warforged, and he's just gently playing this instrument, and these kind of sounds just kind of ripple off and kind of float around the room. It's just a very calming kind of sound. So far in here, patron-wise, a couple of hobgoblins talking to an orc, a couple of dark-skinned dwarves drinking pitchers of ale. Behind the bar is actually, it's not a hobgoblin. It would appear to be a bugbear behind the bar. And he kind of looks up from kind of cleaning one of his pitchers, his tankards. And, welcome, strangers. All's welcome in my home.
Hello.
All barman down the same to me.
Take a seat.
Find a table big enough for all of us.
No, there's one of those, no problem. Drinks, ale.
Sounds good.
I'll have an ale.
7 ales coming up.
All for you, Medistra. Wow.
He goes back behind the bar, taps a couple of barrels, pours some ale, recocks the barrels, brings them all over, like 7 in his 2 big hairy hands, drops them down on the table. Weapons stay in the sheath. Any of you cast magic? No magic words. If they do, you'll have me to deal with, and the boss won't be happy.
The boss? I look over to the Warforged playing the instrument.
Ballard? No, he's not the boss. Izael, the boss of this enclave. He don't brook any unnecessary violence. We is a peaceful group.
We don't intend any.
Just want to be clear. I know some of you, and he kind of fixes a look at the elf, the half-elf, and the halfling.
That's me.
So you, Jet, and Ember.
He's staring down this little girl and saying, "No violence."
Yeah, he looks at the 3 of you, and I know you people have a disliking for some of the people that live here. So, just telling you, weapons in sheaths, no funny business.
We've just come here to rest and to recuperate and find out things. This is a lovely place you have here.
He smiles at you. Don't try and flatter me. Flattery doesn't get you a discount.
How about to scratch your back?
It's a bugbear, yeah?
Yeah.
Those things are big, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
Oops.
Food. I can get you food, but it's possibly not your dietary likes.
What sort of food would it be? Because you never know.
Food that we can scavenge from down here.
I understand.
Is there anything that you think we might like?
Bread.
Then that sounds lovely.
I can do you some stew. Don't ask what the meat is, just eat it.
Do you have any calamari?
Oh.
It's the last adventuring party that started troubling you.
You're having mind flayer soup.
Yes.
To
Give you a bit of a
start.
headache.
Followed.
Smell like fish.
Yeah, no, it certainly doesn't. Followed by I don't know, Quaggoth steak. He brings a platter of food over, mixtures of meats and cheeses, and I mean the cheeses are weird, right? Because it's whatever they can milk down here to form the cheese rather than rather than, you know, the typical kind of goat and cow milk that you're used to on the surface. But you know what? It smells odd, but those of you who are brave enough to taste it,
L'Oreal,
it's actually all right. well seasoned, it's got a good flavour. The meat is not gamey at all. It's quite tender. It's a dark meat and kind of just falls off the bone as you kind of tuck into it. A mixture of kind of ribs and on the bone kind of, guess what you'd equate to steak.
Any of it have a carapace?
No, none of it. No, the carapace has been carefully removed.
Ah, I see.
Though the platters probably are shell-like that they're served in.
Handy.
And then, as you're kind of enjoying your food, the music changes from this kind of soft, kind of tinkly music to something a little bit more grungy and a little bit harder.
I prod Kelgar and say, "This is a little bit more your style."
Why is everybody
Kelgar
complaining
nods.
about cave fisher meat? It's lovely.
It is lovely, yes.
Yes, it was difficult to enjoy my food before. This is better.
It is indeed. More dwarves come in. There's now probably a half dozen of them. And again, very distinct. Most of them have white beards, white hair, and they are dark-skinned.
What does Kurgan look like?
Can't remember. Grey skin, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it's
remember
kind
either.
of greyish purple looking at the picture we've got here.
Well, I don't think the picture is. It says picture represent him really.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say it probably does. You enjoy, the music is good. People come and go. You probably see, let's have a look. Mostly drow, a couple more hobgoblins, several of these dark-skinned dwarves, a couple of orcs, the warforged, obviously, the bugbear, and a pair of tieflings wandering. They stop as they come in and they see Medistra.
I'm going to stand up. I'm going to approach them. And I'm going to hold up my hand and say, "Hello, I'm Medistra. Who are you?"
He looks at you a little bit taken aback. He says, "I'm Agvir."
You're the first of my kind that I've ever seen. I thought I knew I wasn't alone, but I felt alone.
This is my wife, Napione.
Very nice to meet you.
And you, you are new here?
We just arrived today. We will be moving on shortly.
Oh, shame.
But yes, we're just working. We've come to rescue some people down here.
Well, that is noble of you, I guess. We stay here because it is safe for our kind.
What do you mean?
Well, we lived... We lived on the surface for a while, but people kept moving us on, claiming that we were the children of the Emperor after he had done a deed with the devil, with demons and the devils.
I heard similar things when I was very young, but I was raised in a monastery, and I must admit I've led a very sheltered life. And then when I met my friends here, nobody really would talk like that to me.
Well, here we can be ourselves, do as we wish, as long as we live to Ismail's rules. Isael's rules, sorry.
It's always good to follow the rules and the law and to be kind to people.
Indeed. Well, if you don't mind, we will have dinner.
I'm very sorry to intrude. I will go back to my friends. And very nice to meet you both. It's been uplifting.
The music comes to a crescendo, then stops.
Kelgar, having finished his food and drink, requires another tankard of ale, and then moves up to the stage and greets Ballard. Ballard, was it?
Ballard, yes.
Rage will be.
Our friend
Be
Rage
going
may
over.
be interested to talk to you.
Yeah, Rage is going to go over to. It was going to go sit down at the sort of like examine Ballard while they were playing.
He looks quite different to you. He is very silvery, quite ornate looking. A number of, not just kind of his identifying mark on his body, but he's also got what appears to be a lot of rune etchings across his kind of silvered torso. There doesn't appear to be any signs of, almost no sign of kind of living wood in his body. It all seems to be metals. There is a little bit of sinewy wood kind of where his hands are, his feet, parts of his legs, around his knee joints, and sort of his shoulder joints and his elbow joints. But other than that, he's probably 80% metals of some in total, quite silvery metals. He looks at you and he just Ballard.
Rage, pleased to meet you. Different design.
Different design.
Hmm.
Not seen my kind before.
I've seen one other. He was in servitude.
His designation?
Lumber, but I believe that was given to him by his master. He's used to the name now, so he's stuck with it. But he has freedom now.
That sounds intriguing. Why are you here, Rage?
We are, my friends, Kelga and our friends over there. We're looking for individuals that have been abducted from the surface. We believe by a group known as the Masters, Illithid. So we have been tasked to bring them back.
I've been here a long time. I've not heard of these masters.
Strange. How long have you been here, and where were you prior?
I've always been here. Well, when I say always been here, I've been here a long time. I don't really have a measure. You surface dwellers talk in days, yes?
Days, weeks, months, years.
Several thousand sleeps. Or sleep cycles.
A good amount of time, then.
I have never seen the surface. I've only wandered these magnificent caverns and chambers.
Are you free to come and go as you wish?
Yes, I can come and go, but why would I need to? I have everything here I need. It is safe here. It is not so safe out there. Beyond the gate.
I'd agree with that. It isn't. I'm wondering, does the design trigger any memories from? I'm not sure whether we've come across that. It may do, and I'll send you offline.
No worries. No worries. He glances. He says, "Do you wish to walk?
Of course, yes.
Then let us walk.
Although
Perhaps
you may want to stay for 15, 20 minutes just to listen to Kelg. He may bring you some musics that you can add to your repertoire.
He looks adequate. I will speak to him later."
Kelgar smirks and mounts the stage.
He
Inspiration going on this one, isn't there, Kelg?
he puts
I hope it's nothing that makes everyone go completely crazy and mad. It's like
he puts his sort of stringed instrument down, picks up a small kind of panpipe, tucks it into a kind of a small belt pouch pocket that he's carrying, and then just, "Come, we shall walk. We may go beyond the confines of the gates. Are you okay with that?"
Yeah, I'm fine. Yes.
Bring your axe, just in case.
I sleep with it.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll tootle off.
Okay.
While this is going on, L'Oreal has been trying lots of the different kinds of food and engaging. Sorry, was it a bugbear barman?
Bugbear barman, yes. His name is Zach, Zhak. At least that's what he calls himself here. He sort of says, "My name in my native tongue is not pleasant. So I simply call myself Zach." For that is a universal name.
Okay. L'Oreal's just been very friendly with him, engaging with him, talking about the different kinds of food and just trying to find out in a friendly kind of manner.
Yeah, so there's fish. At the bottom of the waterfall, there is a great fishing lake, where they can fish for various kinds of, some blind, some not so blind fish. Occasionally, they kind of get their luck in and they're able to catch water serpent.
A water serpent. I regale the tale of.
He smiles. He says, "Not a water serpent of that kind. These are much smaller. Sort of. I think on the surface we would call them snakes. Sea snakes."
That's
and he
probably
says,
a little less terrifying.
He says there are a couple of caves to the south of here, a couple of hours' travel, where cave dwellers can be caught.
It's a cave dweller.
What did you call it? What was it called, Ember?
Cave fisher.
Cave fisher. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. A couple of places where cave fishers, piercers, occasional ropers. Sometimes they will take out myconids.
Oh.
Have
I eaten myconid?
He looks at your plates. No, that was not myconid. It is best it's best I tell you not. Best that I not tell you it's. But it was good, yes.
I don't know. Did I enjoy it?
Did you enjoy it?
Probably.
It was different.
It was long pig.
Quite strong in its texture, but it was good. Well cooked.
Yeah.
Very well cooked. So why are you here? We do not see half-elves here often. In fact, I think the last half-elf we saw was maybe 10 years ago. We never saw them again.
Oh, it would be interesting to hear about them, but we're here looking for. Well, I'm not sure necessarily friends, but looking for some people who were captured and brought down here by some blood skull orcs, and we hear they've been taken to Illithids or the Masters. We're trying to find them and rescue them.
That is a noble quest, my dear. You surface dwellers are all about your noble quests.
We try to help people where we can, and I feel we may have stumbled in a little over our heads, but we must do what we can.
That is the first good thing you have said this evening. If you acknowledge that you are in over your head, then you will not blindly rush forward into the dark.
Some good advice.
But you will go carefully, spreading light before you. He chuckles.
I can see a little in the dark, I say, quite a little, like slightly reproachfully.
He chuckles again.
Well, I hear this conversation. I poke up when someone says, "See in the dark." What's this? Do you have other means of seeing in the dark?
You cannot see in the dark, little one?
No.
Then you are in for a rough time down here, for it is perpetually night.
Yeah, I know. I used to be able to see in the dark, but I can't anymore.
That is unfortunate. Did you take a blow to the head?
No, I lost an item that made me let me see in the dark.
Intriguing. Yes, I've heard of such items.
Do you know anyone in the area who might trade in such things?
There are.
There are traders that sometimes deal with the surface. Yeah.
Yes. No, you're not having that name. Definitely not having that name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm generating names as we go along, by the way. Just so you know. Dicktail was one of the names that came up. I've decided we're not going to use that name.
Richard Tail.
Dicktail.
Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Dicktail.
Dicktail.
The problem with these random
Scrooge
names,
McDuck now.
Yeah, random name generators are not always that good, I have to say. Zulshir is one such purveyor of magical items. Perhaps he has what you seek. You'll find him on the main mercantile part of the city.
What was that name again?
Zulshir.
Is he a drow or?
No, he's a gnome.
Oh, back in the main city then, or?
Yes.
It's good to know. Thank you.
Or you may try Hasai. She is, from what I've heard, a difficult woman who drives a hard bargain.
And where might she be found?
Also on the main strip. The mercantile strip. Of course, you're new here, aren't you? The academics, just above the governmental buildings. Above the academics, we have the mercantiles. Then we have a couple of levels of residential.
So it's all coming, radiating out on this caldera up on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then towards the top, we have industrial. If you seek something from here, then you could seek out Mern. Mern. He is a Darrow master smith.
Master Smith, you say? A few of my companions may be interested in as well.
Did you say he was Drow?
No, Darrow.
Darrow.
Derro. You will know the Darrow. The Darrow are the enemies of the dwarves. They are dark dwarves.
Oh, okay. I would know that then.
Yes, you would. They are dwarves.
I just have to say that my references of fantasy is Warhammer.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, so they are.
I'm assuming we can see some in the end because you.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're seeing. The Darrow. Yeah.
Is it with a D, not
dark-skinned dwarves with usually white or pale blonde hair.
Correct.
I think they're normally a little smaller as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're the same as Duergar.
They are the same.
No, they're different.
They're different.
Okay.
Darrow can be good, can't they? They're not necessarily evil.
I suppose
Well,
anything can be.
yeah.
I think they are evil. But...
Normally, yeah. The usual
spell that anyway.
Evil, yeah.
Derro.
D-E.
Derro, yeah.
The Duergar out there, like the berserker mental side of it.
Yeah. So Duergar are like the Drow of the dwarves. Darrow are batshit insane.
Yeah, batshit
Yeah,
crazy.
I was going to say
Darrow's
they're a bit wild.
Wait,
yeah, so
which ones?
So Duergar are the equivalent to dwarves as Drow are to elves. Okay, so you generally find Duergar in the Underdark.
Oh, how do you spell Duergar then?
Duergar.
Yep.
Duergar.
Because I just put the other one in. You said the batshit crazy, and it's like they look batshit crazy.
Darrow are batshit crazy. I've just found a great analogy here. So the Duergar are basically that brother who went off to Afghanistan and came back a badass, but with something not quite right. A productive member of society, though you feel you should keep an eye on him. The Darrow, on the other hand, are straight up batshit insane. They have been twisted so much by their enslavement that they're completely cuckoo. They wear a narm, man, and they've seen some shit. Think Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
That's awesome.
But yes.
While this is going on, Kelgar is going to start working through this set list.
Okay. Nice.
Was he playing?
It's a brilliant track.
Really, really terrible career performance roller.
Give me 7 more performance rolls, 1 for each song. You start off rusty. It's been a while since you've been able to crank out, because every time you tried when you were resting, Talon would kind of shake his head at you and put his hand on your instrument to physically stop you from being able to make any sound. And occasionally he'd just go, shh.
You just needed to get tuned in, it seems.
Second song, really good. Awesome. Third song, brilliant. Fourth song, yeah, a little bit okay, but not.
Nice finish.
Yeah, I mean, you knocking out the park with your encore. The
Good way to go.
audience love it. Absolutely love it. And by the time you get to your encore song, Shade by Feeder, you have 6 pints lined up in front of you. And a couple of gems worth about 20 gold pieces each.
Nice. Okay. After I finish out the encore, I shall down each pint in consecutively.
All right. Cool. That sounds good.
I will probably say that as the music and discussion that L'Oreal has been having, she's probably starting to get a little drunk.
Okay. L'Oreal is getting a bit drunk.
Looking a little bit more relaxed than her initial very alarmed state of being in this strange enclave.
During the music, the two, Akvir and Napioni, they come and kind of sit with Medistra. And they tell you a little bit about themselves. It's the kind of tale that you've heard sort of spoken before, not treated well, outcasts, pushed from one place to another, never given the opportunity to settle down. Eventually, they just stumbled on a cave and they followed it. And they were actually rescued by a small group of the drow that were out hunting for food to bring back to the Enclave. They were attacked by some beast of the dark. Neither of them wished to kind of expand on what they meant by that, other than they were grateful for being rescued and being brought here, a place where they felt like they fit.
That's a frightening tale. I mean, as I said before, I was raised in a monastery, but my first years there were not good. The main abbot there was very angry at me all the time because of the way I look. But then the new abbot came and dispatched him, and things were different, much different. And I thank her for that. I've learnt a few things, and that people should be judged by their merits, and kindness does not hurt. But I'm glad you found a home now, and that you're at peace. Maybe one day when things are better, you may return to the surface. And have you had any children, or?
They shake their heads. We have not been so blessed.
Maybe sometime soon. You never know.
Jet, anything you want to do?
No, I'm just going to stand there and just listen in and just take aware of my surroundings and just.
Okay. I mean, this is odd. There are things down here that you would not hesitate to put arrows into, and doing so, not doing so is pretty. Yeah, it's unusual for you. Put it this way.
Well, I mean, I've say befriended a giant in the past, so you got to.
This is true. Yeah.
Things in context.
Yeah, Kurgan. Anything from Kurgan?
Nobody's not drinking much, just in case he loses control around the orcs.
Okay.
That's all I know from his background.
Like Kurgan.
Ember, anything particular you want to do other than the little bits of chit chat that you've joined in with L'Oreal, etc.?
I'm just a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. That's all.
Okay, so you're kind of sort of a bit quiet, listening to the music, enjoying the music, drinking a little but not a lot, staying a bit on your guard.
Yeah, or more like you know, a bit shy.
Okay. Rage, your conversation with Ballard is interesting. You don't really get it. I mean, what you do get is when he awoke, he has no recollection of how he got to where he got to. He was just in a cave, and he just started to follow it.
Yes, that was similar to my experience. I started underground but found my way out and therefore ended up topside.
He's different. He continued to go downwards, and right from sort of day one, you know, when he awoke, he had this melody inside him that he just felt he had to get out.
Yeah, I think I get strange images when I'm at night when the others are sleeping and I'm relaxing, sharpening my weapons and taking care of kit. I get strange images which I think are memories. I've not pieced it all together yet, but when I spoke to the other of our kind, Warthog, the Lumber, he was designed slightly different as well and had a different skill set than I do. So I think we're all designed for a purpose, much like the fleshlings also have individual talents that they grow into. I think we were built for individual purposes. Mine was war. I was built for war.
Interesting. I shall think on that next time I slumber. He takes you sort of out, and he shows you a few things, a couple of places that he enjoys going. He takes you to an interesting crystalline cavern, probably off the one of the floors of the city, about 100 or so feet down, sort of downwards to this crystalline cavern that somehow has lots of tiny reflections of light, but also drips of water from the ceiling create a random melody throughout the cavern. It's actually very peaceful, very relaxing. And he just stands there with his arms by his side and almost goes into that kind of recuperative meditation slumber that you kind of go into. Where you're just standing still, and it's almost like he's gone into that. But every so often he kind of lets out a sigh and a breath, or he hums back some of the music, the tones that he hears. And it is a very, very, it's strange. And you imagine Kelgar would love to see this.
Make a note of where it is.
Yeah, make a note of where it is. Okay, so as
I'll ask him when he travels outside the city. He says he walks outside sometimes. How does he deal with the dark? Because that's the only issue I've got.
He looks at you quizzically. Dark? It is beautiful. Do you not see as you walk?
I normally have a sun above. You won't know what a sun is, which is a great ball in the sky that is a light source.
Fascinating. I do not have difficulty seeing.
I assume that must have been part of your design then.
Perhaps.
Take his eyes.
I'm checking whether he's got anything attached to his eyes. I haven't got like a visor.
A little candle.
A little visor. He's called Ballard LaForge. All right. So as as everything kind of winds down and you all start to succumb to feeling the journey and the tiredness, and you take time to, you ask Zach for rooms. They have room. He has some rooms. It gets you all settled down in your rooms. You all kind of fall to sleep or meditate or whatever it is you do. We're going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
I'll pause the clock.
And now, so 10 past 9.
10 past 9.
Back in 10.
Back in 10. I'll see you in a minute.
Oh.
Sorry, Jack. Was there something you were going to say?
I'm just going to go and have a drink of whiskey. That's all.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. Okay.
We're good.
We are good. Okay, welcome back, everybody. All right. You may all take a long rest and count it as a new day.
What?
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I think.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't
You
want
don't
to.
have to. You don't have to if you want the, fatigue.
No, sorry, it was just something I was looking at in the break.
Alcohol and hangovers notwithstanding, or
Let's say how worse for wear is L'Oreal.
Give me a con check. Not save, just a constitution check.
You dodgy types of alcohol as well.
You've got a hangover. It's not, I mean, it's bearable. But, you know, when you squint, you have to kind of close one eye partly just to kind of make sure that what you're looking at is not wonky.
I suppose they're better as well, aren't they?
You also have a hangover, Calgar. You've had it before.
Like multiple beers, whereas I probably only had
Your
three.
hangover would be flattening L'Oreal out, though, in comparison.
Oh dear. Lightweight.
Medistra, you struggle to get up. You've got this pain between your eyes that you're kind of glad it's quite gloomy down here and not bright sunshine.
Water.
Has anybody had one of the trippy mushrooms in V Rising yet?
No.
I've
No.
got
No.
some, but I haven't actually tried
Try one. It's
Have a nibble.
brilliant.
Don't be fighting a boss while you're doing it, like I did. It was
them. I can't fight bosses anyway. I tried against one that was 18 levels lower than me and got my ass handed to me.
So, as you all come to, what do you want to do for the day? Catapult you 8 hours forwards.
I think we should
Well,
lighten our load a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe information gathering.
Yeah.
Is that what we can about?
All of the above, I suppose.
Magic item buying.
L'Oreal would like to take at least an hour over breakfast, slowly.
Yep, you have an hour over breakfast.
I'm going to put my face in my gruel.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what the breakfast's made out of? Do you really
Don't
want
care.
to check
Doesn't
that?
I don't care. I ate it last night, probably. So
It's myconid on toast.
hair of the dog.
Fried myconid. Tastes a little bit like mushrooms.
Big
Myconid omelette. Myconid omelette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask where the eggs came from.
it's like very large caviar.
Basilisk eggs. Yeah, you can spend an hour kind of. You quickly learn, though, that you've slept through most of the day and it's getting on towards what the surface dwellers would call nighttime. They did try and track the times of the day to some degree down here and try and keep it somewhat in line. But, yeah, get breakfast. You can find places that are open and will serve you. Absolutely.
Do they have anything that, like a timepiece in the town? I know in one of the Drow cities they used to heat a rock at the beginning of the day, and as it went higher up in the spire on the,
Oh, yeah.
it used to give you the time and day, and then a grand mage used to cast it every morning or something. Do you have anything similar type thing here?
No.
Okay.
They don't, unfortunately. But they have a whistle. The whistle goes off when it's kind of time to down tools and go and have fun. And then it starts up again, and then it goes off again when it's time to not damn tools and go back to work.
We're talking the Flintstones here.
Wait,
Yeah.
so are you saying that they whistle while they work, or?
There is a whistle that goes off to signify that they go to work, but they don't whistle while they work. Some of them whistle while they work.
It's very
Is that the
grumpy whistle, though.
Is that the Darrow particularly?
That's the Darrow particularly. Yeah, they whistle while they work. Batshit crazy work.
Some of them giggle too.
Yeah, you'd be worried about buying anything made by a Darrow, wouldn't you? They're just as likely to curse something as they are to actually make it beneficial.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even know whether they did it or not.
Okay, so you want to go do a bit of shopping?
Can I just say one thing first? If we're going shopping, can we make sure that Rage doesn't buy another bloody mall?
I'm off. There's stuff being offloaded here.
Yeah, he's going looking for a javelin anyway, so he doesn't have to go back to the lake.
Oh, I'm definitely going back there though.
Couple more levels, I'm going back there. I'm going to have him.
Really big fishing
rod. Solo that bastard.
All right. So, who wants to start with their shopping trip?
Is it worth buying potions of water breathing then, if we're going to go back?
It wasn't so much that; it was.
Are you asking the question to the man that doesn't need to breathe water? Breathe underwater.
What you want me?
Party, because I mean, obviously he needs help, doesn't he?
The problem, as Medistra just said, the problem was not so much breathing underwater, but withstanding the cold.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
And the disadvantage on attacks.
And disadvantage on attacks. Yeah.
To be fair, that's
freedom of movement spell will probably do this.
Yeah.
At the moment, that's the least of our worries. We can always come back here if we're able to come back here.
But it's still polymorph spell. Turn you all into something that's aquatic and.
So, somebody tell me what they're doing.
Well, I'm going to be hanging back, to be fair, because this is not my speciality. So I will follow whoever's going shopping just so I can watch.
So you can pretty much, in the between the Master Darrow, Master Smith, and a couple of gnomes that you've been pointed out, and another gnome that you find, you can pretty much find somebody that will sell most types of items. That doesn't mean the items you're looking for are present.
Should we what we have in terms of sellable goods and
should we go to the Smith first and see if he'll buy some of these items we have, or maybe we could trade them?
I'd like to find a magic rapier as well.
Okay. All right. You go. First thing you do then is you leave the inn. Is you head over to Mearns. He is stripped down to the waist. There is his skin is extra dark and deep from the soot of the smith. The smith is super hot, and he's just working some metal as you kind of head in there. Without turning, he just goes, "What?" I can't do Scottish accents, so I'm not going to try and pretend that these Darrow are Scottish. What? Don't stand there like lemmings. No, that's not lemmings. Not who is it? Don't stand there like piercers. What do you want?
We'd like to sell some of these items we've acquired.
All right, describe them to me.
Rage, there you go.
This is the Darrow, isn't it, you said?
Yeah.
Well, first, we need to know what you have got for sale, if anything. Trade in general.
Well, if I haven't got it, I can make it.
Okay. Just looking at just out of character, guys. From the party loot, we don't need the spear +1, do we? We don't need the great axe +1. Is anybody using the justice mace +1?
We don't need on him. No, I've got something else. We don't need the 14 heavy crossbows.
Yeah, we've got a breastplate +1. We've got half plate armor. I assume we're not using neither of those. The gems we can sell to other people, not this guy. More to the gem smiths. But then it's just other mundane stuff, isn't it? Like getting rid of the scimitars and heavy light crossbows and whatnot. So magic item wise, are those okay to go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. Well, for us to sell, we have these.
I'm looking at
reaches into the back.
And you just plonk everything that's magical on the table.
I'm actually looking at the Justice Mace and thinking that might be good for me, but I didn't know.
You want it? Take it.
You guys cast spells, you know.
It's a celestial bequeath.
Although Medi was casting spells in melee the last encounter we was because he was trying to do melee, but casting spells instead.
Yeah,
I've placed the mace in Medistra's care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so anything that's in weapons there, obviously that crystal shouldn't be in weapons, should it?
Probably because I've set it up. I probably set it up as a weapon. By accident.
Is it a magic
crystal weapon?
Fires bolts of energy.
The crystal it's a spell focus, isn't it? So it could be used by spells for a warlock or wizard.
Yeah. So I suppose everything in weapons can go, apart from the crystal, in case somebody wants it.
I think I have my own, thanks. But...
And then from the armor, pretty much everything can go. The amulet will keep, obviously, because that's magical. We can get rid of the breastplate, get rid of the half plate. I think I've got a set of half plate on me actually, which I can chuck into there as well, because I'm not wearing it anymore, am I?
Right. So.
Do I just drag that? No, it doesn't. Send it to player.
Yeah, I don't think we can send stuff to the party.
Yeah, I don't know what Kurgan uses for spell focus.
I've just dragged it across. Sorry. I'll delete it off mine.
Right. So the 9 scimitars. It tells you they're a load of crap. It's seen better. It's seen better workmanship from a halfling with a rock hammer. But reluctantly, he will offer you 50 gold for the 9 of them. Purely in the sense that he says, it's scrap metal, I'll melt it down and I'll make something better.
Wait, is he trading coin or?
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's what he will offer you in terms of the equivalent monetary value.
Oh, right.
Okay.
We're kind of getting done on that, but
yeah, I'd prefer something at least like 75 or something like that.
If you want, somebody wants to try and haggle with him,
that isn't going to be me. So somebody else can step up here for haggling.
What comes under haggling?
It'd be persuasion.
Persuasion.
Ain't me then.
It's Chunder Monkey. Or was it the other one that was Chunder Monkey?
It was the other one who went and chundered. That's not to say that she also would not chunder on the carpet, given the opportunity, instead of the hard floor.
Well, Kelka should be good at talking, shouldn't he?
He's not trained in it.
Looking around the
intimidate, yeah, but I don't think this is going to be intimidated.
Not the place for that. Looking around the smithy, what is the quality of the arms and equipment here?
your trained eye? Give me an investigation check.
I can try.
I'd be better at that.
Give me an investigation check then.
Then take a look.
I can try and wing a persuasion roll with my bardic half trained thing.
Thank God for Lucky. It's certainly on a par with the master dwarf, the master smiths in your dwarven home, Ember. That is to say, it's good quality. Better than the average human smith, other than the dwarven trained human smiths. Probably on a par with elven smith. Obviously, elves tend to smith things a lot more dainty, a lot finer. They look like they'll break. Dwarves make things to last.
You can find that elves make things to last as well.
Elves do make things to last, but it looks dainty.
All those scimitars, I think you're giving us a bit of a raw deal. Materials are worth more than that, surely?
Is that what you think?
Yeah, you can give us a bit more than that.
He bangs the hammer against his head. You sure that's what you think? And then he cracks it down on the metal that he's turning.
Rage reaches over his back and pulls his maul out. Yeah, I've got a hammer as well. If that's what he thinks, that's what he thinks.
He looks at your hammer, sniggers. Give me a persuasion roll.
Persuasion or intimidation?
Whichever you want.
I'll go for intimidation because I'm actually skilled in that one.
Very nice.
Seeing the alarm.
You're trying to make me look scared, big man.
I'm just telling
I could turn you into your constituent components and use you to make a very good weapon.
L'Oreal.
I could just kill you. I could just kill you. How about that?
L'Oreal just sighs and says,
He turns, and as you say that, he goes like this, and a maul the same size as yours appears in his hand. Do you want to try? He says with a grin. Bangs the head of the maul against his head and drops into a fighting stance.
Can you make yourself bigger rather than just your maul?
I don't need to make myself bigger.
L'Oreal is trying to interpose her
Right,
tiny self between these two brutes.
Amber places herself in front of Rage between the dwarf and Rage.
And L'Oreal does.
All right. How about we calm it down and we talk about money again?
Yes.
Gentlemen, look, we've all just come here to trade.
Can Darrow change? I know Duragar can change shape. Is it Darrow? Darrow can't, can
Darrow can't, and Darrow was small, not medium.
Yeah, no, Darrow is small. Yeah, no. He's just pulled a massive big warhammer out of the air.
I'm trying to calm both Rage and
Wait, who can change their size?
Duragar. They can
Duragar.
actually make themselves big.
They can go large.
What? Him?
No.
He's a batshit crazy Darrow.
Oh, he's a Darrow.
Yeah.
I thought he said he was a Duragar.
He's about he's about the same size as you, Ember.
Oh.
Actually, no, you're medium, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm small.
No, you're small. Yeah, he's the same size as you in height.
Oh.
The difference is you're slender. He's built like a square.
Yeah, that's why dwarves are classed as medium, but they're still square, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've just rolled the wrong check there. That was meant to be persuasion.
By the way, he beat your intimidation check by 1. He grumbles into his beard. He says, "If we swing these weapons, Ismail will not be happy."
Yeah,
so
we don't want to make Ismail unhappy, do we?
Or
Ismail. Isael, sorry. Yeah, Isael. Last time he was unhappy, 4 people died before they could take a breath.
Oh, only one of us would have to be worried about that because one of us would be dead.
He smiles.
Or we could just
As
exchange
much, he
goods
says,
and-
as much as I'd like.
I can't smile.
No, I know. He smiles. As much as I'd like to find out which one of us that would be, probably not a good idea.
You've got your reputation and your shop to think about.
Yeah,
Tell you
wouldn't do
what.
any good to kill any customers, would it?
I'll tell you what, for your cheek, I'll give you the 75 you said.
Seems like you're a fair man.
That worked out well.
What else have you got for me?
47 heavy crossbow.
Well, they'd be useless to him, wouldn't they?
47.
No, you got
No.
14. You got
You got
14.
14, but you've got a lot.
You got 14 heavy crossbows, 5 light crossbows. Do you just toss it all out on the floor?
Yeah, and the equipment too.
He won't want that. That's more like a woodman's stuff, isn't it?
No, it's
Yeah.
warriors. Well, warriors.
Crossbows are crossbows. It's
Yeah,
pretty
crossbows
useful
are
on the
crossbows.
ground.
It's
Good
made
for
of
good
wood.
for town guard.
Yeah, but
May not want that.
A smith wouldn't want that because they're wood.
Well, heavy crossbows are made by smiths.
Oh.
Longbows are
Well,
made
that-
by heavy crossbows have been made by a smith.
The
'cause
problem with
they're
the heavy
not-
crossbows is they've not been well kept. And he comments on this and he says, look, I understand you'll want the best money you can get for these, but some of these genuinely are shit. For all these crossbows, he says, and he kind of kicks a few heavy crossbows around and a couple of your light crossbows, I'll give you 600 gold. And that's me being generous because you've got spunk.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, well, I can tell you're a fair man now, and whatever it isn't doesn't work will be spent for spare parts for the others and maintenance. So, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so he takes your heavy crossbows and your light crossbows from you. If you wave the quarterstaff at him, he laughs and says, "That's just a branch."
Yeah, I don't think we're waving.
Yeah, I agree. We use it for testing the depth of water when we don't want to throw
Pretty much.
when we don't want to throw ember in.
The great axe +1. He looks this over and he ums and ahs. Interesting craftsmanship, obviously made by a dwarf. Not as good as a Darrow, but it's good. Keen blade, sharp edge. Not much use, although the orcs and the bugbears here probably snap it up. If I put it up for sale, I'll give you 900 for it.
I'll take it. I'm not fussed, to be honest with you.
It's stuff we got for nothing, so.
He looks at the spear, and as he goes to touch it,
Now, there's a story behind that. In case you touch it, it was taken off a warlord of the orc tribe to the west. So it's got a story.
The blood
behind it.
skulls.
Yeah.
his hand hovers over it for a second, and he looks at it, and he shakes his head. I will not be taking this.
Could you tell us
Any,
why?
yeah. Any reason?
Cursed.
Oh,
Oh.
There is a black foul art wrapped upon this blade.
Interesting.
The warlord seems to be using it okay. So what does the curse do?
Well, the warlord is dead
Yeah,
now.
but he took a lot of killing.
did take a lot of killing.
Was that the one where you
It-
stabbed
it-
us in the gut every time someone did a move?
Yeah.
Correct, yep. Yep, every single
So
time.
many times.
So many times. Oh, look at that cat. He's so cute.
No, she isn't.
I don't know. I just sense the darkness about the blade. You would need to take it upon yourself. You would need to be one with it. And only then will it show. Unless you have magical means of understanding what it can do.
Don't be daft. We're not that sensible.
Fair enough. We'll try and force something on you. We'll just have to investigate.
Yeah, he says, I would suggest you do not use it until you know what it does. Now, what else do you have for me?
No. Now we're on to armour, I suppose, because I don't think you'd want long bows or short bows.
Shakes his head at those.
We've got a couple of sets of armour. One of them, quite a nice designed breastplate. I'll pull out the 2 sets of half plate. One which is pretty spot on because it's been inside me for the best part of a few weeks or whatever.
That just sounds wrong.
That's pristine. So that is absolutely pristine.
They'll offer you 1,300 for the 2 sets of half plate.
The breastplate, do we not want to hang on to that?
Well, the +1.
Anybody use it?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know whether Jet can make use of it.
It's not my style.
It reduces age dex bonus. You only get +2, don't you?
And you get disadvantage, don't you, on stealth?
No,
you don't.
The breastplate.
Heavy.
Breastplate's okay, is it? Okay.
Yeah. No use to Kelgar then.
I'm currently wearing regular half plate, so actually, yeah, a +1 breastplate would be the same, and I wouldn't get disadvantage on stealth.
Oh, yeah. Switch it then.
Yes. Cool. All right, yeah, I'll swap out.
Okay, and we'll sell another set of half plate then.
Hang on. What's he taking? Is he taking the breastplate or the half plate?
No, we're adding an extra half plate into the mix, and then the breastplate's going to Calg because Calg's wearing half plate at the moment. So it's 3 sets.
Kelgar should have the breastplate sent to him.
Wait, but they're both medium. Why would that change his stealth rules?
Because
half plate gives you disadvantage.
Okay, he'll give you 2,000 gold pieces for the 3 suits of half plate.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Do we need to be adding these totals to anything, Zed, or are you adding it to the party sheet?
I'm not adding it to the party sheet at the moment. I'm just figuring out how much he's going to give you.
I've got a shield as well.
Yeah, I don't think that shield's going to reach health or anything.
He'll take it off your hands.
Well, we'll keep hold of it because in case one gets damaged or lost, and you may need it.
Yep.
We have actually fought a Russ once, haven't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, just in case.
So I make it. He owes you 3,575 gold.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
2,900 plus 600 takes you to 3,500 plus 75 for the scimitars. 3,575 gold.
I tried to accept the half plate transfer. It didn't seem to work for some reason.
Did it not?
Have you just checked? I sent you one before sent it.
Yeah, don't see it in my inventory.
There you go. Breastplate +1s on your character sheet, Cal.
So, and should I just destroy the...
just destroy the half plate, yeah.
Cool.
So, you'd be wanting to trade then? I can give you cash, as you topsiders like to carry cash, or we can do some items if anything takes your fancy.
Well, I suppose it's open to everybody to see whether there's any items here that they would like.
Right.
There are some other traders in town that may be worth.
Yes. So we can get a list of roughly the items you can make or you have in stock and how long it'll take you to make other things, and then we can go make a decision on whether we want cash or if you just give us cash, we can go and have a look round and have a look at here as well.
So the alternative thing is, what would you want from a smith?
Is he able to make magical items or just?
Of course.
Would he be able to make a belt of, what was it, ember?
Oh, dwarven belt with. I think they just call
It'd be a belt of Darrow kind, wouldn't it? Not dwarven kind.
yeah.
Scum.
Or
You see the dark be going a bit.
Daily chance of going insane instead of growing a beard.
Yeah.
the goggles of night vision. Wouldn't that be a gnome thing?
It'd be more. Yeah.
I don't know though, because
Do you make anything?
not see in the dark.
You gotta bring a dark vision.
Do you make anything that can help my friend here see in the dark?
Friends.
Friends, sorry.
Yeah, Rage isn't Maddie's friend.
Yes, for some reason I thought it could because his friend could, Bard could, a ballad, sorry.
Different
our journey together,
different design.
Maddie.
He shakes his head. He says, "I'm more of an arms and armor man."
Yeah, that's more of a special item, really, isn't it? Do you sell anything that could any finesse weapons that I could use?
Didn't you want to? Was it rapier?
Yeah, a rapier.
Joe would use them.
He reaches over and he grabs a long sword and smiles at you. I can thin the blade a little on this. As he says that, Rage, he winks at you.
That goes over Ember's head. I don't know what's going on.
Figuratively and literally.
Both.
Does he have a rapier?
Just so peeps know, I did take the crystal because I didn't realise that I would need it.
Wait, what?
That he did not have a focus.
Yeah,
he didn't have
Doesn't look like Kurgan has either.
He
got a components pound.
Kurgan's focus is his haft. Counts as it also counts as a spell focus for him.
That makes sense then.
I kind of figured out get these crystal or get diamonds worth 300 gold to do Revivify.
He goes over to like a big barrel with a whole lot of hilts and stuff stuck out of it, and he kind of rummages through it and says, rapier. He pulls one out. Actually,
I mean, short sword works as well, but they do less damage. Which is
weird. He doesn't pull a rapier out. He pulls a scimitar out.
Oh, I don't think I can use those, can I? They're not finesse weapons.
They're finesse-like weapons.
Are they?
I just
yes.
Know.
Finesse-like, but D6, aren't they? They're just same as a short sword, aren't they?
Same as a short sword.
I think so.
Yeah.
But more curved.
Much more curved.
Slashing instead of poking.
Yep.
I don't get many people asking for light finesse weapons, I'm afraid.
That's true. You won't really get that kind of thing.
I can make one for you, but it will take a number of days.
How long?
Well, the rapier itself, a couple of days. If you want it to be enchanted so it can damage and hurt things that would normally be protected against mundane metals, then depending on how far you want that to go will depend on how long it will take to do.
Oh, okay.
Just out of character, what I will say is we're going to be gone from here for a few days, and I'm hoping we're going to be coming back here when we leave.
Yeah.
What I'd also say is the vast majority, if that's a +1 scimitar, yeah, the vast majority out of character, the vast majority of your damage comes from your sneak attack, and the difference between a 1d6 and a 1d8 ain't a great deal.
Yeah, and also
If it's 1d6 plus 1,
bonus
that's...
to attack, that would give me a bonus to attack.
It would give you a bonus to attack, a +1 to your damage. So over what you've got at the moment, if we come up against something that needs magical weapons, you're doubling your damage anyway, because it's actually impacting. It's not got resistance. So
be better with the scimitar. Well, for now anyway. That's a good point. I mean, I probably would have thought that in game, but not.
L'Oreal's going to approach the smith and
how much does it cost to have a level 3 item anyway these days?
A level 3? What do you mean level 3 item?
You know, +3.
+3?
A lot. +2 are very rare.
More than this city.
Oh, really? Is that? I didn't know.
Yeah. You're looking at about 30. It could be about anywhere between about 10 and 50,000 gold pieces.
probably very rarely for sale as well.
And very rarely for sale.
All right, because he said he could make one higher level, and I was like, well, how high do you go?
So +3 is probably out of his capability.
I think +3 is as high as they go nowadays. It used
+3
to be
is
+5.
yeah, they don't go higher than +3.
Oh, right.
Always to do with the math, won't it, that they brought in?
Yeah.
The banded.
Yeah, if you had the +3, they more often than not got something else as well, like the sentient, and they do other abilities.
And if you couldn't make
snarky
them,
comments.
If you couldn't make them, we'd be staying here until you made them.
As long as they're cheap.
Maybe it takes a year to make. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to approach the Darrow and kind of show him the armor that I'm wearing and say, this armor has protected me a number of times. It's made with a special metal. Are you able to work it?
He looks at it. Work it? Yes. Have it? No.
Would there be enough material in this to make perhaps a breastplate?
Maybe. I don't know until I... Well...
Ruin it.
Basically, yeah. I don't know, is his simple answer.
Is it a chain shirt?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You can make a breastplate, but have lots of holes in it.
So chain shirt weight is £20.
Has L'Oreal considered going for the typical MMO female armor?
Exactly. I could just...
A breastplate's £20 as well. So they've probably got equivalent metal
material.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. MMO female character breast
In fact,
bra
if you just
type thing going on.
half the armor off, it'll at least add 1 or 2 to my AC.
That's how it works, right?
Apparently so. I show a little bit of midriff, then I'm
good,
almost
yeah, +5.
unassailable. I know exactly.
Oh, and if you don't wear it, I will.
Yeah.
Tempted.
Isn't that what the ogres do in Warhammer? They don't have any armor on their stomach because they think it's already armored.
No, it just won't fit. I'm going to insert L'Oreal's Larry Elmore pictures soon.
Yeah, I've seen a documentary recently, actually, on a lot of the fantasy art stuff. Larry did feature.
Yes, I think I probably saw the same one.
What?
Was it on Netflix?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was this?
Larry Elmore was one of the fantasy artists.
Larry
Paul
Elmore.
Well, and what was the other one?
He did all the Dragon, well, not all of them, but he did a few Dragon Last ones, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, what was the documentary called?
I can't remember. It was Dungeons and Dragons thing, but artists.
I think I thought they'd been advertised.
Some great stories in it as well.
So I'm looking for something and I can't quite find what I want. He looks at you and he says, like I said last, I can work it. There's probably enough material in there to fashion into a breastplate, but I don't have anything hot enough.
What would you need?
The heart of a volcano. Or equivalent, he says with a smile.
Oh,
If you can bring me the plane of fire, I could probably do it.
You're unable to summon elementals?
He shakes his head. I'm a smith and a warrior by trade, not a summoner.
Do you want to swap a spell out?
that would be impressive. I'll think on it. Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. So, anything else?
I'll take the scimitar.
You sure? You don't seem convinced.
No.
It's a good blade.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Big note in my papers now is this dude can work adamantine! Exclamation mark.
Yeah, he can definitely work it.
Yeah, just need to bring in the elemental plane of fire or a volcano. Sorry, the heart of a volcano.
He smiles. He passes the blade over to you. You sure you want it?
It's not cursed, is it?
No, I wouldn't. He says. He shakes his head. He says, "No, I wouldn't sell a cursed blade. That is not something I do."
It's just the hilt that's cursed.
The scabbard, it won't let go of the blade.
Yes, I would like it. Why do you think I don't?
Just in case you were holding out for a rapier, I would have thought. But
Well, I am, but then I suppose if we are coming back, I could ask one to be made and then take this one instead.
He nods. Very well. Sorry, I'm just delaying because I'm looking for something.
It's going to cost you 3,000.
For the moment, not for the moment. permanently, because obviously for the moment it's just a stupid thing to say. It is just a +1 rapier, and it will cost you 600 gold pieces.
Rapier or scimitar?
Sorry, scimitar, +1 scimitar.
I don't have that in my character.
Oh, we've just got credit, haven't we? Because we just sold all that stuff.
Yeah, you've just got 3,500 gold worth of credit.
Yeah,
okay,
take off the
so
total.
that's all right then, I suppose.
Okay, you want a +1 scimitar.
Maybe half run around with scimitar.
Perfect for a swashbuckler, if you ask me.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, I've added a scimitar to your character sheet.
Thank you.
She just needs a moustache now and a fancy hat.
That leaves you with 2,975 gold. Anybody else want to see if we can do anything for you?
Tempted to make a switch, but I'll stick with what I've got. The only thing I need now is anything to see in the dark, so that'll be in town off the other magic, off the
Correct. Yeah.
Sulshar or Hasai.
Yep.
I'm almost tempted to give him the other thingy and see whether he can do a pole arm, but no, I'll leave that.
Okay. Well, he hands over your cash, counts it out.
Unless he's got one. If he's got a pole arm in stock and it doesn't need, then, but specifically a magic one, but
any old pole arm.
halberd, glaive, yeah.
He apologises. He has a polearm. It is not magical.
Yeah, no worries.
It was a halberd.
Hang on, is it? Did you say it's a halberd? It's not magical. That's fine.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll see if I can pick one up off a corpse.
Okay. All right. He hands over. Where's the party funds? Right. I'm not doing this math in my head tonight. I can't be bothered. Right. When it's all said and done, you've got 5,718 gold in your possession. But I'm going to roll it up so you have 774 platinum pieces. 8 gold, 1 electrum piece, 3 silver pieces, and 2 copper pieces. So I've rolled all your cash up into platinum.
That's very kind.
Because it's just easier that way. All right. You head back out into out through the gate and sort of into the main part of the gnome town. The mercantile sector, pretty easy to find. You make your way there. So Zulshar is...
I just got to change my battery in my headphones.
Yeah, no worries. Zulshar sells a lot of potions, rings, trinkets, wondrous items. Hasai seems to sell a lot of wondrous items, a few magical weapons and armor, rings, wands, etc.
I think Hasai first.
Oh, rings of dark vision might be the easiest to find.
It's the wondrous items.
Whoops. Ah!
Who are you going to first?
Huh? What? I missed everything we were just talking about.
Zulshir sells potions, rings, trinkets, wondrous items, and Hasai sells kind of wondrous items, a few weapons.
Yeah, I don't think Zolshu sells wondrous items.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Zolshu is you can't really tell, but he is a male gnome. He is wearing bright mustard-coloured clothing. Has a pair of spectacles on his eyes with multiple lenses that he kind of rolls up, rolls down. He is currently sort of tinkering with something on his desk. Looks like some piece of clockwork.
Walk up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hello. I heard we had some outworlders here. News travels fast. How can I help you?
What are you working on?
Just a small clockwork crab. I'm trying to figure out if I can get it to can get it to perpetually run rather than have to be wound up.
Does it explode?
Oh, no. No, it's a child's toy.
Kurgan had an interest in exploding child's toys.
It did.
He had an interest in exploding puppies.
Yep. You must go back and collect those.
They've probably blown up by now.
Let's go back to the village and find it's a crater.
So, you looking for anything special?
My two friends here need something to see in the dark.
Not a torch. Not a
Not
lantern.
a torch.
Something
Not a light source of any kind.
Something that doesn't make me non-stealthy.
That's an interesting challenge. You say you can't see in the dark?
Yep.
So why are you down here then?
Been following this
Chance.
Wrong turn.
I'll light a coin and toss it to Ember.
That shelf, and he points to one of the many shelves in his little shop. 3 rows up in the gilded box.
Okay, I clamber up the shelf. Oh, yep. You got a ladder?
Of course he's got a ladder. Of course he's got a ladder. He's a gnome.
Oh yeah, I'm taller than him, so I could probably just reach.
Yeah.
All right. I open the box up.
You're taken aback for a second. There is what appears to be staring up at you, the most hideous, red-coloured, squinted, slanted, bloodshot eyes you have ever seen. Mounted in what looks like some kind of frame with spectacle arms on them.
Oh. Are these actual somebody's eyes?
You saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Of course, miss. How do else you think you make goggles of night?
Oh,
The best shadow demon eyes I could get my hands on, those are.
All right, I'll put them on.
You put them on. Everything goes grey. But you can see pretty clearly up to about 60 or so feet before your vision goes back to normal. And it's exactly the same effect as you remember when wearing your belt of dwarven kind.
Oh wow!
The only difference is
amazing. Yeah, the only difference I look ugly now.
There's these little springs that have the eyes on and they keep popping out.
Well, he says, I've got those. So that's one thing. He says, top shelf, under the cloth, 3 along from the right.
Okay.
Rachel will go over and pick Ember up so she can reach the top shelf.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rage. I pull the box down and have a look inside.
It's not a box, it's a cloth.
Oh, sorry, the cloth. It's under the cloth.
Yeah.
Oh, I just take the cloth off then.
Okay. You are greeted by what appears to be a strange mask. It looks like the face of a goblin.
Oh. Wait, hang on a minute. Didn't we encounter one of these before somewhere?
Yeah.
All right.
What could go wrong?
Who's going full Leatherface?
Is it going to turn him into a goblin? They can see in the dark, can't they?
Yeah, I'll ask him what this is.
He smiles. It's a very rare mask, he says, known as a goblin mask. You definitely see in the dark with that.
Oh.
Does it have any other effects?
Well, truth be told, I'm not sure. But I do know, or at least I've heard, that it allows you to speak goblin, read goblin, write goblin.
Does it turn you into a goblin by any chance?
And it gives you the ability to effectively gives you nimble escape, which is can be used 5 charges. You could use an action to expend one of its charges to take the disengage or hide action as a bonus action during your turn.
Which you do as a bonus action anyway.
Which he does as a rogue anyway. That's not that useful to it. Does it?
I can already speak goblin anyway.
Exactly. So there's not a lot of value to you, but it does allow you to see in the dark.
Also, notice the way he skipped over the bit where, like, he didn't answer on the does it
Correct.
to a goblin?
He didn't answer the question.
Wait, so I can see in colour, or I can see in grey?
Well, all of us that can see in the dark only see in greys.
Oh, that's what I thought, yeah. I'll be better off with the goggles, the glasses, I meant.
Well, unless you want to be a goblin.
No, because, no thank you. What about rage?
Do you want to be a goblin, Rage?
I've got no issue with it. Unless there was a.
Well, you could use it, and you could use the dodge thing as well, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you can also speak goblin, can't you?
I can, but that's neither in there, is it? It's either that or we get something like if there's an Everbright, like the Everbright lantern type thing.
Well,
I've done
you know, a lantern that's got some like continual flame on it or something like that.
I'll sort of whisper to Rage.
But what?
Why don't we try this Assai's place as well?
Yeah, well, we can see what's there.
Point and be there, yeah. Hang on,
We
the
can
lantern of eternal light would mean that I couldn't stealth in the light.
Yeah, you ideally need dark vision type thing. Rage not so much.
Rage
Yeah.
doesn't really.
Rage just needs to be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that dark vision is just that. It's monochrome. It's not necessarily the best for seeing other things in.
Yeah, it's not good for seeing detail.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we
But
will
if
need
we need to
some
see
light.
detail, we just cast a light spell.
That's true. You got light cantrip. Yeah.
Mm.
True sight.
High level. 5th or 6th?
Sorry, what?
True
High level
sight's
casting, but it's also
level or 6th level spell. Not getting that anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, no.
I think if there was an item somewhere that I could cast light X number of times a day. You know what I mean? Like a glove or a pendant or something like that. It wouldn't
Even a
bother
weapon.
me. A weapon, but it'd be on my it'd take the place of this my foe cutter then.
Yeah.
But if it was like a trinket, a pendant or a ring or whatever.
Again, just buy a necklace and I could cast light on it for an hour for you.
Mm. But then that depends on you
He,
casting it if it goes out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While you're saying this, that Zolshir's kind of stroking his chin, and if it's just overcoming darkness, he points away. That shelf bottom, there's a half dozen clamshells. Bring them over here.
Okay.
I was going to
Goes
say
over.
there's a half dozen torches, just like one of those.
Some batteries in the one next to it.
Oh, the clamshell cast continual light in it. Close it up.
Okay. Goes over and gets them.
Okay. You put them down the desk and he opens one of the clamshells, and there is a strange block of a pale bluish coloured material about this kind of size by about this kind of size.
It's uranium.
I was thinking C4, but yes.
We can all glow in the dark.
These are hard to get, he says. But if you were to chew one of these, then it's going to be, and he looks at you and says, bear with me a sec, bear with me, it's going to sound strange, but you kind of get this bump on your forehead that glows like a beacon. The last time I tried it, it was very surprising. I was able to remove any darkness out to 120 feet, which became dim light. And any dim light in that same range was the equivalent of sunlight. Lasted for about an hour. But it's an acquired taste, and it has been known to have a slight detrimental effect to those who take it for the first time.
Well, I suppose we could keep that in mind. Rage looks at the others and kind of, if he had eyebrows, he'd be raising an eyebrow at the moment.
So
Thank you for
stalk grows
the
out your
options. So was it just the goggles then, Ember?
So the only thing, yeah.
Yeah, just the goggles.
Just out of interest, how many times a day could you use the clam?
Well, only works once. Once you've chewed it, that's it. The properties of it have gone. That's why I've got this batch here. He's got 6 of them.
All right.
So just the goggles?
Yeah, what were they called? Goggles of...
Goggles of night.
Oh.
Well, that'd be 600 gold.
Okay, take it off.
Okay, thank you.
Not going to haggle?
Sounds about right. I think.
Depends what else you might have available in the shop.
Yeah. Like I say, there's not just this. Everybody else, sort of like, if you've got any ideas, just chirp up and.
Well, also, we have some things to sell, don't we, from our party?
I mean, we've got a lot to sell. Does he have anything that I think would be more useful for a sorcerer or cleric, or is that not the kind of stuff he sells?
They got Ember. I've given you Goggles of Night. I've equipped them. The good thing about Goggles of Night, they do not require attunement.
Oh, don't they? Oh, okay.
Nope.
Just pop them on.
Say again, Mariella, what are you looking for?
Anything that would help with like a sorcerer, wizard, cleric, kind of magical, more arcane type items, or is this not what he sells?
You sell wands or anything like that?
He doesn't sell wands, but he does have a Pearl of Power.
Ooh, I think Kurgan might be interested in that.
Oh, if I
Or
already had
perhaps-
dark vision, it would extend my range to another 60 feet.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Right, yeah, I thought that was a wisdom increase.
Pearl of Power gives you... you can use an action to speak its command word and regain one expended spell slot of up to 3rd level.
Oh,
That's a sorcerer one.
Can only be used once per day. Once it's used, then you have to wait until the next dawn.
Today's stream has been turned into the shopping stream.
Indeed it has.
it's
Sponsored by
Kurgan should have
Costco.
another fireball, basically.
That's
Sounds-
crazy.
Or another counter spell.
Mm.
Another 3rd level, wherever it is.
Or haste.
Right, let's go
Yeah,
to the...
Because sorcerers use Ring of Spell Storing.
Should be able to.
Anybody
Yeah,
can use
anyone
rings of
Yeah,
can.
they
Yeah.
can't they? Yeah.
Literally
Anyone.
anyone.
Which is a very good item.
It's a super good item if we get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Do is better
Only
roll.
gets rage, some night vision before spending any of the money.
Well, yeah, I'll have a look at Hassai's, see what they've got. Like I say, I can still make do with, getting a lantern and working with a lantern. So I think it's more important for Ember.
Oh, have I just enabled Ember to be even more deadly?
Yes.
What
Then
do
there's
you
a
mean?
then there's a penalty to those goggles.
What?
They blink constantly.
Every time the eyeball pops out on the spring and looks down, you get disoriented.
Need to make
This
a
is
con-
advantage on backstab.
Yeah, need to make a con save or throw up.
Or they get tangled up.
No.
Yes. It's
kinda
not
got
so
a-
much
Ooh,
the
excuse
eyes
me.
and the glasses, it's a big Groucho Marx nose and moustache that throws you off.
Yeah. No, it just turns you into a shadow demon when you wear them.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Is that a good thing?
Yep.
It depends if you're a human if you're trying to do business with somebody while wearing them.
Well, I've already put them on.
Yeah, you just take them off. They're not attunable, so you take them off and you're back to normal.
Wait, you didn't put that in the notes? Or are you just messing around?
No, they are made with demon eyes. They don't turn you into demons, though. That I am messing you around.
Oh, right.
Right, I'm just looking at something because
What
this is
the dark
ridiculous.
shadow demon anyway?
Why am I looking at homebrew? I don't want to be looking at homebrew. Okay. So this one has a he has a pearl of power.
Okay, so we've got a pearl of power that we could possibly come back for, or a goblin's mask. But
Yeah.
I'd say go to the other place. Take what we've got now. Go to the other place, see what they've got there.
Joshua, thank you for your time, and
thank
here's our coin, and we'll maybe be back soon.
Oh, right. Okay.
What did he say? What the price of the pearl of power would be?
6,000 gold.
Maybe we'll get that on the way back.
I don't think anyone's going to take it off his hand anytime soon.
No.
As a wealthy young man walks in and says, "I'll have a pearl of power, please."
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay.
The price of the pearl of power is all over the place.
Well, there's no consistency on 5e magic
Pricing,
item
no.
anywhere.
So if you use the same pricing, which everybody suggests you should do for the pearl of power, it's 6,000 gold. If you use standard wondrous items, it's 300 gold.
What?
Yeah,
exactly.
300 is very cheap. So
if you think about what it gives you, a free level 3 spell once per day. That's quite powerful, right? That's a fireball. That's a counter spell. That's why people are sort of saying it should be up. Actually, somebody says it should be around about the 5,000 mark. So
how much is the third level scroll?
I don't know actually.
Well, you won't know because the BMG provides virtually no explanation about how to price magical items.
No, it doesn't. Right. I think we could just do this for hours, and it doesn't make for great watching and listening. So here's what I suggest we do. We assume that you go shopping.
Yep.
Send me over the next week a list of things you're particularly looking for, and I will let you know what is and what isn't available before next session, and then you can either and the price, and then you can either buy them or not buy them.
Yeah, we could do a shopping conversation on Discord.
Yep.
Do a shopping conversation on Discord, whatever. Yeah. So let's do that.
I have no idea what Guy wants.
Yeah. What we will do is we will firstly, Catherine, thanks for joining us tonight. Apologies, it was very much a shopping night.
It's all right.
Which doesn't help much when you're just standing in for somebody.
He didn't use any of his spells though.
No.
Quick, do it now.
Cast them.
Yeah, I'll go and pick a fight with the orcs. There we go.
Yeah, go pick a fight. See, according to this, a scroll of fireball they reckon is 150 gold.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
that's
I'll have a couple
one
of those.
used, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we'll have a few of those. Start the next few combats with a round of fireballs.
A scroll of revivify is only expensive because of the material cost you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I took that charm, that spell focus.
Whereas think about it.
I was going to say, the equivalent remove curse scroll, which is third level, is 500 gold, or Leomund's tiny hut is 500 gold.
Yeah, but that pearl of power, if you gave it to, say, a 7th level cleric, you got a free revivify.
Yeah.
It makes it very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You still need the component cast.
Yeah, you still need the component
from the component, but I mean, you could be after a fight, you use all your spells up, someone's down, you suddenly got a revivify even though you've used all your spells.
Yeah, I've always I don't particularly like.
What's this item called?
Pearl of Power.
Pearl of Power. It's cast as item.
I'm not a particular fan of the same item pricing because I find it's quite harsh.
I do think it should be on locale rather than item, if you know what I mean. So if you're buying an item from a city, it's going to be more expensive than it would be from a village.
Oh, it does do though. That's down to a DM will price that accordingly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I am pricing things. So same magic prices. I think this one's an old version, but nonetheless.
Did have a useful link. I'll try and dig it out for you, Zed, which had comparisons of about 2 or 3 different item pricing guides, including Sanes.
That'll be useful actually if you've got that, because Pearl of Power in Sanes is 6,000, but I've seen another one. I've got it somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out what it's called. That has a slightly different price in it, and that always seemed to me to be a little bit more reasonable.
Try that link. I think that could be it.
I suppose there's got to be an item that allows you to cast a 3rd level spell once a day that's an equivalent, which is essentially what you're doing.
I have to put a filter view on it, Zed, because it's obviously, or save a copy.
Where was the link?
I've just sent it to you in Discord.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
What about Ironstones? You might get an Ironstone that does the same type of thing as Pearl of Power.
One of the cool things it does is it links to the D&D Beyond of the item.
Got it.
Which is quite handy.
Oh, that's useful.
You know, you're joking
Lots
about
of people
turning
look at
into
this.
a shadow demon.
Yeah.
Be quite handy to have one. They disappear in the dark.
Yeah. That would make you
Very powerful.
ridiculously lethal as a rogue.
But unfortunately, burn up in the sun.
I mean, this has got Pearl of Power saying
No, I just get
6,000.
disadvantages in light, apparently.
DMPG price of 400, whatever that is, and MBJV price of 600. DMG price of 101 to 500 gold in that bracket. Xanathar's is 100 to 600. So it's not even consistent across official material.
No.
I think Sanes very much looks at items from the eye of a mechanical advantage.
Yes, it does.
Which, depending on how your game runs, may or may not be that relevant. So
yeah. See, if you look at Sovereign Glue, so let's see an interesting one. So look at Sovereign Glue on this list. You just sent. If I can spell Sovereign, S-O-V, right?
Mehdi, if you would stop streaming. Or
No. Stop watching.
Sovereign Glue. According to Xanthar's guide, it's worth between 50,000 and 300,000 gold pieces because it's a legendary item. Sane puts it at 400 gold.
What?
It's because in reality, like, it isn't a 50,000 gold item, is it? Like, it's some glue that sticks stuff.
Let's
yeah.
Go get a shopping cart.
It's super glue, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
It's a tube of super glue.
Yeah.
However, if you look at it, once it's glued, Universal Solvent, Oil of Etherealness, or Wish spell to break it. So it's quite strong. But
Many a time I've had my finger stuck to a desk with super glue and I've wished that it would become unstuck. It
doesn't work.
I would say the Pearl of Power, for the sake of argument, it's priced highly, right? And this is from... where was you talking to this? Was it Zulshire still?
Yeah.
Zulshire still, yeah.
Zulshire.
Okay. He would probably charge 800 gold for the Pearl of Power.
Worth considering. I think. Yeah, it's worth considering.
But let's take the for the sake of not spending another week doing this, let's take the shopping discussion to Discord.
Yeah.
Post what you're interested in. I will let you know whether it's available or not and a price, and you can figure out if it's worth doing. All right. I have removed the 600 gold from your party funds for the Goggles of Night. What I will say is they do look like demon eyes, and if you wear those goggles and try and interact with somebody, Dart, you are going to be at disadvantage. Okay. Because they are quite scary.
So basically, use them in combat and not when you're wandering around. Use a torch.
Correct.
Definitely not when you're on the pull.
No.
Okay.
Unless you're after a shadow demon, in which case.
Or they're into that kind of thing.
Did you roll your eyes at me?
Is that only the eyes of the shadow demon? They may take offense.
Yeah, definitely do not wear them in the city of Brass.
Oh.
No.
Brass?
Yes.
The home of the shadow demons.
It's the home of demons and devils. Well, I think it's demons, not devils. I can never remember which.
That kind of Brass. Okay.
It's on one of the planes of hell.
Odds are you're not going to get there.
You might get there. You might have a reason to go there. I might give you a reason to go there.
I could banish him there. No, I can't. But
okay.
It'd be good if you could choose where you banish someone to.
It would be lovely. You can't, though.
Yeah.
So you do have... the other thing is, in order to get things set up for next week, you can speak with the Magisters, the Arcanists, who will teleport you back to a location of your choice within their teleport network. And it's the outposts. So if you want the outpost nearest to the branch of the tunnels that leads towards the Masters, the Illithids, they can teleport you there. They will charge you 10% above the reagent cost for the spell.
Not bad.
It's pretty good.
So whatever that costs, or a 5th level spell, which I think is 25. 25 gold pieces times 5 times a spell, or 25 gold pieces times spell level, typically. So what is it, a 7th level spell? Yeah. Anyway, so there will be a cost, probably no more than about 500 gold pieces to teleport you. They can also give you a scroll, which will get you back.
Oh.
That will also have a cost associated with it, though. So I'll work all that out for you next week.
Cool.
Obviously, next week is the... No, it's not next week, is it? It's the week after the Jubilee week.
That's next week.
No, it's next week.
This is next week, but is everybody around?
Day off.
Don't think we are. No.
Which actually might interest some people here. Royal Albert Hall on Thursday next week. Video games in concert.
Nice.
Music of various video games.
So you're away next week, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. So we need to find out if Guy's around. If Guy's around and Cathral's around, then we can play with... Cath can play either L'Oreala or Kelg for the night.
Why not both?
Or both.
Two different sessions logged in.
Is Mr. Jen's available for the night?
I'm not around the week after.
Mr. Gent is not available. He's in Rome.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Selfish bastard.
The week after, I'm not available. So the choice would be no game for the next 2 weeks, or if Cathral's available and Guy's around, we will play next week. But if Guy's not around, we won't play because that's too many people down.
Yeah. And if we don't play for 2 weeks, I'm going to go back to cocaine.
That's fine.
Teleportation circle's a 5th level spell.
Okay. All right.
And I know my wizard, the wizard that I actually cover for on the Friday game. I play 2 characters on Friday because one of the guys is always working. He's got it.
Cool. Okay. So we'll double check with Guy if he's around to pick up Kurgan next week. If not, there'll be no game. Otherwise, if everybody else is here and Kath's available, then he can play one or both of the missing players' characters for us.
Fantastic.
And we'll try and move it on to continuing the journey downwards.
Can't we go to Costco?
If you wish. I'm just going to assume this week is you lot delaying going down that other tunnel because
no shit, Sherlock.
We wanted information gathering as well. Was there any information? Maybe Zed, if we put questions to you,
put questions in,
offline, same thing.
Yeah, so you can spend a full day wandering around this place, asking questions, trying to figure out stuff that you might want. You've got both the Drow Enclave and the main city. You may find that the Drow Enclave have better information about what's beyond the city walls.
Yeah, they've come through there, haven't they? So they've only settled here. Yeah.
They're not particular. I think they're enemies of the Illithids anyway, so they might actually know something about weaknesses and things.
Yeah.
I want something to stop me getting mind controlled.
I have a weakness to brains filled with arsenic.
Well, stopping you getting mind control, that's the
silver
protection from evil. That's what that is.
Is that right?
Yeah, just taking of necromancy and then just send a load of zombies over, give them food poisoning.
Yes.
Strange that protection from evil and good is in my spellbook.
That just means they have disadvantage, don't they, to do things to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
that
thing
makes
is?
a big
No, it
difference.
stops you getting charmed.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. It does.
Yeah. Can't control
They'll
it.
be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
Yep.
By such a creature.
And if
it doesn't stop them drilling into your brain and slapping the
it
insides
doesn't
out.
stop you doing that. It gives them disadvantage against attacks and things like that, but it stops charm and all that good stuff and frightened. And
so
if that affects on you, I think it gives you a saving throw straight away. I think.
Oh.
I think smothering your face in garlic just probably helps. They're just like, oh, thank you.
Merci, monsieur.
I had a previous GM that used to hate me going into combat because I used to cast protection from evil on myself, and it annoyed the hell out of him.
It's just the thing is, it's one of those spells that very rarely gets used.
See,
there's a lot of first level spells that are awesome if you actually think about them.
You look at protection from evil for a first level spell. That is top tier. It really is.
In the right situation.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations, it's
protection. I'm going to cast protection from evil. Why won't you stop stabbing me?
Works against undead. Works against fiends. You know, it works against so much.
Sylvan.
Yeah.
Elemental. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's good. That's as I said, I've had it. I've never cast it yet, but I've had it in my spellbook all the way through.
Thing is, it's one of those where it's because it's predominantly first level. I think bless trumps it.
It's more flexible.
You can cast it on because it gives you attacks and saves.
It also affects multiple people.
Yeah.
It's a tough.
But for something where we want to stop a certain thing like charm happening, your protection from evil is gonna
bear in mind though, you don't know what these things can do.
That much is true.
That's why I was saying that gathering information from the Drow to see what they do.
As far as we know, they just stood there handing out potions to people. Drink it. It smells a bit fishy, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You need your omega-3s.
What's that swimming around in the bottle? Nothing?
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, so hopefully we're on for next week. We will find out during the week, and I'm going to kill the stream. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully you watch the rerun.
Indeed.
Apologies for the shopping missions.
Yeah, apologies for a classic Critical Role shopping session.
It's got to happen eventually, hasn't it?
It has got to happen eventually, yeah. Night, everybody.
We forgot the milk.
Night, guys.
Yeah.